And for those of you who sent M&Ms, they were shared and appreciated by many. I also have a letter here that Jeff sent along that he wanted me to read. Dear Grandville Bible Church, Van and I want to say thank you so much for the generous gifts you gave to us. You have done so much already. We would never have dreamed of asking you for anything, but when Melissa and Beth asked us to make out a dream list of things we could use here, we were very nervous in doing so. But as Melissa and Christy showed up in our living room with 6 trunks of your heartfelt gifts, we could not believe our eyes. Your love for us is so clear and can be seen in such a tangible way. Asher is the most stylish baby in Kasuli, thanks to your generosity. Many of the things, especially the books, cannot be found here or are very rare. Not only will we be edified by them, but we're excited to have others read them as well. Van and I are also enjoying the food tremendously. It probably won't last until furlough, even though the 2 of us had big plans to ration it. Pastor, I already got my translator to eat a piece of your red-hot jerky. He didn't know what was coming, and it caught him off guard. Van and I truly miss the fellowship with you all. Thank you for keeping us in your prayers and thoughts. We think of you often and pray for you upon remembrance. We can't wait until furlough to see you all again. For this reason, I too, having heard of the faith in the Lord Jesus which exists among you and your love for all the saints, do not cease giving thanks for you while making mention of you in my prayers. Ephesians 1:15 and 16. With much love, Jeff, Van, and Asher. Now we're going to move on to an interesting part. Many of you have asked me numerous questions about their daily life. How do they do this? How do they do that? How do they do this? I hope to answer those questions here. If not, hold your questions until the end. How do they get water? That was one of the biggest questions. Well, they get water by a guy named Lenny who goes to their church, and they call him on their phone and say, Lenny, we need water. And this is what he brings. It holds, I think, 10 of those big jugs, and each jug is like 6 gallons. And he gets water about 2 miles away, and he pulls it by hand over those beautiful roads that you saw and brings it to them. He does this twice a week, and each time he comes, it costs $1.33. Told you, things are inexpensive there. Here he is carrying some of the water into their house, and here's some of it sitting on their front porch. In this picture, they buy their water in 2 different kinds. One is called drinking water, and the other is called cooking water. The drinking water, don't be fooled, you cannot drink it. It still needs to be filtered, but all the big chunks are out of it. It took Jeff and I almost an hour every night to pump water for drinking for the next day. The cooking water goes in this barrel, and they have like a 2-liter thing you would make Kool-Aid in, and when they need water, they dip it in and use the water. That water is used for cooking, it's used for bathing, it's used for laundry, it's used for anything you would use water for. And this is the water man and some of the roads he has to traverse. Groceries play a big part of life in Kenya. Because there is no refrigeration, they often get groceries 2 or 3 times a week. Now that Van is home with the baby all the time, the grocery responsibility is on Jeff, which in Kenyan culture is very, very strange because a man would not be seen buying groceries or carrying groceries. So here he is going to town. This is a road near their home, and this is the larger road that little road meets up to. Eventually, this road will take them to a paved road, at which point they need to get on a matatu. This was Christy's favorite form of transportation. A matatu is like a minivan that seats 25 to 30 people. Now remember, in Kenya, there are no showers. It's a very delightful experience. This is Jeff checking his mail. His mail is not convenient for him. He's looking to get a new post office box at a better location soon. This is another mode of transportation. It's called a boda. They transport people, they transport coffins, lumber, you name it, on the back of a bike. Here's Jeff checking his mail. This used to be one of his errands that he did while he was in town, but like 2 days after we left, they got internet in their home, so now you can correspond with him much more frequently. In fact, I usually hear from him 2 or 3 times a day now, so it's kind of fun to be able to chat with Van again. And here is Market. They had a fancy name for it. We called it Mad Market because it was just insane. There were so many people there. Everything is bartered for, from beans to rice to hats to shoes. If you want sweet corn, there you go. Cabbage, barter away. Any kid know what this is? Bananas. This woman with Jeff, her name is Kathy, and she goes to their church. She took us to market this day because she's better at bartering than Jeff. Jeff surprised her by having her pick out a cuckoo, which is a chicken, to take to Van. While Van has no clue what to do with a live chicken, it was actually a gift for Kathy. So this is some of the scenery on the way back. As you can tell, it's very dry. There are quite a few cactuses, few trees. And here's the cuckoo. You just put them live in your bag next to your pineapples and your beans, and you go home with them on this matatu with 30 other people. Rather a unique experience. Here's another market that we visited the next time we had to go get groceries. And of course, what's a trip anywhere without a visit to a bakery? Yay! We also visited a little greenhouse type thing, and this is their bridge across a ditch. And here's part of a matatu. Very crowded, very loud, music blaring. They do have popsicles in Kenya. They're a very rare treat, but we did indulge. And here's Jeff. This is right outside his house. His house is probably 30 or 40 feet away. Again, a very rare sight, seeing a man carrying anything in Kenya. And of course, when you get back, the disciples washing their feet, yeah, we needed to too. They were pretty gross, and it was a great way to cool off. I was mentioning that there are a lot of home-based businesses, and this is one. This is a pile of charcoal. They use charcoal when they do their cooking. More about that later, but how they get their charcoal, it doesn't come in a big bag like we buy charcoal. The people will find wood and burn the wood until it's like coal, and then they cool it, and that's what they use for charcoal. And this is a video with Jeff showing us how to use their little cooker.
Cool there. What I'll probably go do actually is buy some kerosene. I cheat. I just put a little kerosene on top and light it.
Okay, what's this thing called, and what are you going to use it for?
Okay, this is called a jiko. Is it filming right now? It's called a jiko, and it's an African traditional Kenyan cooker. Most people still use these today. Just put the coals in, light it, and then the pot sits up here on top to cook. And we use it not all the time, but like we're making beans where you're going to cook something or stew something for a long time. It's much cheaper than you using propane. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. So that's their jiko, and that's kind of like their little crock pot. And here's a picture of the beans cooking on it, so you get an idea of what it looks like. They also can take that little jiko thing. Oh, here's a picture of Jeff making ugali over the propane, and scrambled eggs over the propane, and heating up water for Asher's bath. They can also use that little cooker thing. They put it underneath this, and this is an oven. Their teammates own this, and we went over there for dinner one night, and they made us enchiladas. So they can do some baked goods there, but it's kind of a rare treat. This is the bathroom called the cho. Many of you wondered. There's the hole. There you go. This is how they do their laundry. There are 4 buckets. These buckets are used for everything from washing your hair to doing dishes to what have you. So this is laundry day, and that took most of the afternoon. Again, a man wouldn't be caught dead in Kenya doing laundry. And this picture proves that they are not true Kenyans yet. Notice the clothes that are hanging. This is how the neighbors do it. So they're not true Kenyans yet, but they're working on it. The pastor at their church had a child just a couple weeks before Asher was born, and this is their baby. And this is their teammate's little girl, very photogenic little girl, very fun. She loved the M&Ms. And these are their teammates and their children, and the road right outside their house. And this picture makes their house look like a mansion, but all the leaves cover up this. But this is their home. They are upstairs, and it's the only home in their neighborhood that is on a second story, so they really get some nice cross breezes through there. That helps tremendously. This is the lock on their door. The lock is on the inside. Where you see the bubble wrap there, that covers a big hole that you can reach through when you need to unlock the door. Go figure. Welcome to Kenya. This is just a side trip we took one day.